Have you ever searched frantically for your keys, turning the house upside down, your mind racing through every place you've been, every pocket you've worn, only to stop, take a breath, and realize they were in your hand the entire time? We smile at this little absurdity of life. But what if the greatest search of all, the grand, noble quest to find yourself, follows the very same pattern? We set out on this epic journey. We are told there is a self to be discovered, a core truth buried deep within, a final destination on a map we must painstakingly draw. So we begin to dig. We dig into our past, analysing every memory for clues. We project into the future, creating versions of who we should become. We climb mountains of knowledge, read sacred books, follow gurus, adopt new names, and collect identities like beautiful, polished stones. We become archaeologists of our own soul, certain that if we just dig deep enough, we will unearth that one precious artifact, the real me. And the search is exhilarating, isn't it? It gives us purpose, a direction, a story to tell. I am on a journey of self-discovery, we say, and it sounds so profound. But look closer. Feel closer. With every step you take towards that imagined self, are you not also taking a step away from the self that is breathing, right here, right now? The search creates a division. It creates the searcher and the sought. It splits you in two, the one who is looking and the one who is supposedly lost. And in that very division, the peace you are looking for vanishes. You cannot find what you have never lost. The entire effort is a magnificent, beautiful, and utterly exhausting misunderstanding. You are looking for the sky while standing in an open field. You are searching for the ocean while floating on its surface. The frantic energy of the search itself is what clouds the sky. The desperate paddling is what churns the water, so you cannot see the stillness that lies beneath. So I ask you, not as a teacher, but as a fellow traveller, what happens if you stop just for a moment? Right now, stop searching. Let the maps burn. Let the destinations fade. Let the idea of a found self dissolve like a sugar cube in water. Don't try to be mindful. Don't try to be present. Don't even try to stop trying. Simply notice the effort. Notice the tension in your shoulders from all that spiritual climbing. Notice the faint exhaustion behind your eyes from constantly looking for something that isn't here. What if the great revelation is not found at the summit of the mountain, but in the simple act of putting down the heavy bag you have been carrying? When you stop looking for yourself, you are suddenly, undeniably, here. Unfiltered, unnamed, vast. You were never lost. You were only preoccupied with the search. The silence that follows can be deafening, can't it? When the noise of the search fades, you are left with what? An emptiness, a void, and the mind, the great storyteller, panics. It rushes to fill the space. It tells you, this is dangerous, this is nothingness. Without a quest, you are nobody. Quick, find a new story, a new identity. This storyteller is a masterful artist, weaving intricate tales of triumph and tragedy, of who you were, who you are, and who you must one day become. It hands you a script each morning. Today you are the ambitious professional, tomorrow the spiritual seeker, next week the devoted partner or the wounded child. You wear these costumes so well, you deliver the lines with such conviction that you forget you are the actor. You begin to believe you are the role, and the search to find yourself is the storyteller's greatest masterpiece. It is an epic drama with you as the hero, on a noble quest for a hidden treasure. It's a story that can last a lifetime. It keeps the actor busy. It keeps the storyteller employed. And it is terrified of silence. It is terrified of an empty page, because in the silence, a question arises, soft as a whisper, but powerful enough to bring the whole stage crashing down. If I am the one playing all these wrongs, who am I when the curtain falls? Who is the one that is aware of the costume change? That quiet, unchanging awareness that has been there all along. It watched you as a child, playing in the rain. It watches you now, listening to these words. And it will watch you in your final moments. It has no story. It has no name. It has no destination. It is simply here. To seek for yourself is to insist on reading the script instead of noticing the actor. You are trying to define the ocean by capturing a single wave. You hold it in your hands and say, This is the sea. But the water slips through your fingers and the wave is gone, already replaced by another. The ocean is not the wave. The ocean is the vast, boundless, mysterious potential from which all waves arise and into which they all return. You are not the wave. You are the ocean. So stop trying to define the wave. Stop chasing it. Simply feel the magnificent, rhythmic, eternal dance of your own being. Let the roles come and go. Let the stories play out. Watch them with amusement, with compassion, but without believing they are you. The real you is not in the story. The real you is the silence in which the story is told. And yet, the hand still clenches, doesn't it? The silence arrives, and immediately the impulse to grasp, to define, to control arises with it. We hear this truth, that we are the vast, silent awareness, and the mind immediately tries to turn it into a new object to possess. Ah, so I am the ocean. Now, how can I be the ocean better? How can I hold on to this ocean feeling? And just like that, the search begins again. Only now it wears a more subtle disguise. This is the central addiction of the human mind. Control. We believe our safety, our happiness, our very existence depends on our ability to manage the flow of life. We try to hold on to love as if it were a delicate bird, squeezing it until it can no longer breathe. We try to hold on to security as if it were a fortress, building walls so high they block out the sun. We even try to hold on to time itself, clutching the ghost of yesterday and the promise of tomorrow, terrified of the raw, untamable reality of the now. Look at your hand, metaphorically or even physically. See the fist it so often makes. Feel the tension, the effort, the constant low-level strain of holding it all together. But what are you truly holding? What is inside that fist? Look closely. Unfurl your fingers. It is empty. You are clenching around an idea, a memory, a fear. You are fighting a ghost. The struggle is not with life. The struggle is with your resistance to life. Life is not a statue to be carved and perfected into a final form. It is a river. Its nature is to flow, to change, to be unpredictable, and you are standing in the middle of it, trying to command the currents, trying to stop the water from moving. Is it any wonder you are so tired? The ultimate paradox is this: the moment you stop trying to control the river is the moment you become one with its power. This is not about passivity. It is not about giving up. It is about a different kind of strength. It is the intelligence to cooperate with reality rather than fight it. It is the wisdom of the sailor who doesn't command the wind but adjusts the sails. Can you feel the difference? One is a battle born of fear. The other is a dance born of trust. So, in this moment, can you feel the current of your own life? The flow of your breath? The beat of your heart? The sensations rising and falling in your body? Don't try to change them. Don't try to hold on to the pleasant ones or push away the unpleasant ones. Simply allow them to be. Let them flow through you, just for this breath. Let the river carry you. What you discover is that letting go is not an act of loss. It is an act of profound homecoming. This homecoming is not what you think. It is not an arrival at a palace of eternal peace where all the difficult emotions have been banished. That is another dream, another story created by a mind that fears life's wholeness. The mind wants a curated reality. It wants a museum of perfect moments, a life with all the messy, unpredictable and painful parts edited out. So we become expert curators. We chase happiness. We hunt for bliss. We collect positive affirmations like shiny pebbles, and we spend an equal amount of energy running from our own shadows. We build dams to hold back the river of sadness. We construct elaborate cages for our anger. We distract ourselves from the chilling presence of our own fear. We believe that if we can just eliminate the negative, what remains will be pure, untarnished gold. We are trying to live only in the noonday sun, forgetting that life is a full day. There is the gentle dawn, the fiery sunset, and the deep, mysterious darkness of the night. You cannot have a flower without the dark, rich, messy soil. You cannot know the warmth of a fire without having first known the cold. To deny your pain is to deny your capacity for joy. They are two ends of the same stick. Pick up one, and you pick up the other. This is the great secret that the spiritual search often tries to hide from you. It promises you light, light, and more light. But true awakening is not about escaping the darkness. It is about realizing that you are vast enough to contain both. The pain you have been running from your entire life. What if it isn't an enemy? What if it is simply an unloved child, knocking at your door, wanting to be seen? What if your anxiety is not a malfunction, but a tremendous energy that has been suppressed and mislabeled? Try this, just for a moment. Bring to mind a feeling you have been pushing away. Sadness, fear, a vague sense of unease. Don't dive into the story behind it. The why is the mind's territory. Stay with the raw sensation itself. Where do you feel it in your body? As a tightness in the chest? A hollowness in the stomach? Now, instead of resisting it, can you do the most radical thing of all? Can you allow it to be there? Don't welcome it. Don't fight it. Simply drop the rope in this tug of war. Let the feeling exist in the space that you are. Breathe into it. Not to make it go away, but to give it room. You see, the suffering is not in the feeling itself. The suffering is in the pushing away. The agony is in the resistance. When you stop fighting, a strange thing happens. The monster you thought was chasing you turns, and you see it has your own face. It was never a monster. It was just a part of you, exiled and unheard. And in that moment of allowing, of radical acceptance, its power to haunt you dissolves. You are not the light. You are not the dark. You are the space in which both dance. And from this vast, silent space that holds both the storm and the stillness, how do you then meet the world? How do you love? Because that is the next question the mind asks. If I am no longer searching, no longer trying to fix myself, no longer a half looking for its whole, then what becomes of relationship? So much of what we call love is born from the search. We are two empty vessels, rattling against each other, hoping the other has some water to pour into our own emptiness. We meet not as two whole beings, but as two hungry ghosts, each secretly believing the other holds the key to their salvation. Make me feel whole, the silent contract reads. Tell me I am worthy. Complete my story. We project our unfinished epics onto them. They become the hero who will rescue us, or the villain who will finally give our suffering a face. We fall in love not with the person, but with the role they can play in our drama. We ask them to carry the heavy burden of our unfulfilled dreams and our unhealed wounds. Is this love? Or is it a negotiation? A beautiful, tragic, and ultimately doomed bartering of needs? When you cease the frantic search for yourself, you withdraw this impossible demand from others. You show up at their door not as a beggar, but as a host. You have nothing to ask for, because you have realized you lack nothing. You are not an empty vessel. You are the wellspring itself. And from this place, Love is no longer a desperate grasp. It becomes a spontaneous overflow. It is not something you do. It is something that happens through you. You love not to get, but simply because love is your nature when you are not clouded by the story of your own insufficiency. You begin to see the other for the first time, not as a reflection of your own needs, not as a character in your play, but as another unfathomable mystery. You can look at them without the filter of your past, without the agenda for your future. You can simply behold them in this moment, in all their glorious, messy, contradictory humanity. You allow them their darkness as you allow your own. You are no longer terrified by their sadness or their anger because you are no longer a stranger to your own. You can sit with them in their fire without trying to put it out because you have learned to sit in your own. This is the greatest gift you can ever offer another, the spaciousness of your own presence, a presence that asks for nothing, that seeks to change nothing. Think of someone in your life. Right now, picture their face. Now, can you let go of the story? Let go of who they are to you. The partner, the parent, the friend, the enemy. Let go of the history, the expectations, the disappointments. Can you just see the being behind the eyes? The same silent, witnessing presence that is looking through yours. In that silent recognition, beyond all the stories, true love is found. It is not a meeting of two personalities. It is a meeting of two silences. And in that shared space, a dance begins. Not of two halves trying to become one, but of two whole stars lighting up the same sky. This sky, this silent awareness, knows nothing of time. Yet we live our lives as prisoners of the clock. Our entire existence is carved up and measured by a relentless ticking. Past, present, future. The mind lives almost exclusively in two rooms that do not exist. Yesterday and tomorrow. Yesterday is a museum of ghosts. We wander its halls, polishing old trophies of achievement, or staring at the empty display cases of our regrets. We replay conversations, relitigate old wounds, and try to solve the unsolvable puzzle of what might have been. We carry the weight of every moment that has already vanished, dragging a chain of memories that grows longer with each passing day. Tomorrow is a land of fantasy and fear. It is a canvas onto which we project our grandest hopes and our deepest anxieties. We rehearse future triumphs, brace for imaginary disasters, and live in a constant state of preparation for a moment that never arrives as we expect it to. And in between these two phantom realms, this vast museum and this imagined future, lies the only reality we ever have. This moment. But we are rarely here to experience it. We touch it with only the tips of our fingers. Our minds already rushing backward or forward. We eat our meals while planning the rest of the day. We walk in nature while replaying an argument. We are with our loved ones while worrying about tomorrow's to-do list. Life is a banquet, and we are starving to death while counting the silverware. The search for yourself is a game played in time. It is a story about a journey from a flawed past to a perfected future. It requires the clock. It depends on the idea of becoming. But your true nature, this silent presence, is timeless. It was here before your first memory, and will be here after your last thought. It is the canvas, not the painting. It is the... Can you feel it? Right now. The gentle, insistent reality of this very moment. The feeling of the air on your skin. The subtle sound of the room around you. The rhythm of your own breathing. This is it. This is the only life you have. This simple, unadorned, immediate experience. It is not a dress rehearsal. There is no grand finale you are building towards. The destination was always here. The treasure was always at your feet. To stop the search is to fall out of time. It is to step out of the frantic story of becoming and to relax into the simple miracle of being. It doesn't mean you stop making plans or learning from the past. The sailor still uses the stars and remembers past voyages, but he knows he is sailing on the ocean of now. His sails are filled with the wind of this moment. When you drop the weight of yesterday and the anxiety of tomorrow, you become incredibly light. You become available to life. You can respond to what is, rather than reacting to the ghosts of what was, or the phantoms of what might be. You are no longer a fragmented being, scattered across a timeline. You are whole. You are here. And here, in this timeless presence, you will find a peace that the mind, with all its searching, could never hope to find. It was never in another time or another place. It was always in the silence between two ticks of the clock. And so, where does this leave you? Not with a new philosophy, not with a set of rules for a better life. That would simply be another search, another costume. It leaves you, quite simply, here, unburdened, awake to the ordinary miracle of your own existence. The mind may still cry out, but what is the purpose? If there is no mountain to climb, no self to perfect, what is the point of it all? It asks this because the mind is a machine for creating purpose. It cannot comprehend a reality where being is enough. What if the purpose of a rose is simply to be a rose? It does not strain to become a more perfect rose. It does not worry about the roses of yesterday or envy the roses of tomorrow. It simply unfolds in its own time, releasing its fragrance to the air without asking for anything in return. Its purpose is not in what it achieves, but in what it is. You have been taught to live like a traveller on a long and arduous journey, your eyes fixed on a distant destination. Every step is measured. Every action is a means to an end. But what if life is not a journey, but a dance? The point of a dance is not to arrive at a specific spot on the floor. The point is the dance itself. The joy is in the movement, the rhythm, the connection, the unfolding of each step into the next. This is the great shift. From a life of doing to a life of being. From a life of achieving to a life of experiencing. The serious, furrowed brow of the seeker relaxes into a gentle smile. Life is no longer a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. There is a newfound playfulness, a lightness. You can engage with the world's drama, play your roles with sincerity and passion. But now there is a part of you that knows it is a play. You are the actor who can wink at the audience, aware of the grand, beautiful game of it all. The mind, that magnificent and chaotic storyteller, doesn't need to be silenced or destroyed. That is another act of violence, another form of resistance. The mind simply needs a new job. It has been a terrible master, but it can be a wonderful servant when it is no longer burdened with the impossible task of creating and finding you. It is free to do what it does best, to calculate, to create, to solve practical problems, to write poetry. It becomes a tool in the hands of the silent awareness, no longer the tyrant on the throne. So, do not fight your thoughts. Do not try to empty your mind. Simply withdraw your belief from them. Watch the parade of thoughts, feelings, and sensations pass by like clouds in the sky. You are not the clouds. You are the vast, open, unchanging sky in which they appear and disappear. This is not a teaching to be learned. It is a reality to be recognized. It is a remembrance of what you have always been before the first story was ever told. You have been searching for a drop of water, not realizing you are the entire ocean. So stop. Breathe. Look around you. Feel the life that is pulsing in this very moment. You have lost nothing. You have nowhere to go. You are already home. And in this homecoming, a different kind of action is born. Not the frantic, fear-driven action of the searcher, who is always trying to arrange reality to fit his preferences, but a spontaneous, effortless flowing. It is the action of the river moving towards the sea. It does not need a map. It does not consult a committee. It simply moves, following the path of least resistance, yielding to obstacles, yet always finding its way. We have come to believe that great change requires great effort. We grit our teeth. We push. We struggle. We declare war on our habits, on our flaws, on the world. But have you ever watched a seed grow? It does not struggle. It does not force its way through the soil with violence. It simply responds to an inner intelligence, a silent knowing. It accepts the nourishment of the sun and the rain, and it grows effortlessly into what it is meant to be. This is the state of non-doing, which is not the same as inaction. It is action without the actor. It is movement without the resistance and self-consciousness of the me, who is trying to orchestrate everything. When you are rooted in the silence of your own being, your actions arise from a deeper place. They are not born of anxiety or ambition, but of a clear response to the needs of the moment. It can feel like you are being lived rather than living. Decisions are made without the agony of deliberation. Words are spoken without the rehearsal. You find yourself moving with a grace and intelligence that is not your own. This is not some mystical power reserved for a chosen few. It is your natural state when you get out of your own way. The mind will tell you this is irresponsible. Who will take care of things? Who will make the decisions? It screams. It believes it is the CEO of your life, sitting in a high tower, directing all operations. But the truth is, the body breathes without the mind's permission. The heart beats without its command. The universe has been unfolding for billions of years without its advice. The intelligence that grows the forests and spins the galaxies is also within you. Can you trust it? Can you trust life enough to let it move through you unimpeded? This is the ultimate surrender. Not a surrender of defeat, but a surrender to a vast and benevolent intelligence. It is the release of the small, fearful, controlling self into the arms of the whole. You stop trying to steer the ship and you realize you are a wave in the ocean. The ocean is going where it needs to go. Your only job is to be the most magnificent, authentic wave you can be. And so, the final paradox reveals itself. By losing the self you thought you were, you gain the universe. By giving up the search, you find everything. By ceasing to try, everything is accomplished. There is no path to this place. There are no steps to follow. Because it is not a destination. It is a recognition of where you already are. It is the simple, radical, and profoundly liberating act of waking up from the dream of your own story. The dream was never real. The searcher was never real. All that remains is the silence, the awareness, the vast open sky of your own being. And in this sky, a single star, a single flower, a single breath contains the entire mystery. You are not in the universe. The universe is in you. The universe is in you. And the mind hears this, and it thinks of stars and galaxies swirling inside the confines of your skull. It imagines an infinite space contained within a finite body. But this is still the language of separation, of containers and things contained. The truth is far more simple and far more radical. Look at the world around you right now. The light falling on the floor. The shape of the chair. The colour of the wall. We have been taught to believe that there is a world out there and a perceiver in here. Your eyes are like windows, and you are a separate entity looking out at a separate landscape. But what if the window and the landscape are made of the same glass? What if the act of seeing is not a one-way street? What if the colour red is not something that exists independently, which your eye then captures, but is a single, unified event called seeing red, in which both the eye and the colour are born together? There is no seer separate from the seeing. There is no experience separate from the experiencer. There is only the seamless, singular, unfolding tapestry of experience itself. Let's make this real. Listen. For just a moment. Listen to the sounds that are present in your space. The hum of a machine. a distant voice, the beating of your own heart. Now, where are those sounds happening? You say, they are out there and I am in here, listening. But listen more closely. Can you find the boundary? Can you find the exact line where the outside sound ends and the inside listener begins? Is the sound not arising directly within your own awareness? Is there not just one single field of hearing in which both the sound and the listener are appearing simultaneously? The sound is not happening to you, it is happening as you. The sight of the tree is not happening to you, it is happening as you. The feeling of the air on your skin is not happening to you, it is happening as you. This is the end of loneliness. Loneliness is the illusion that you are a fragment, a separate I, adrift in a vast and indifferent cosmos. But when you realize that you are not separate from anything you perceive, how can you be lonely? You are the hum of the machine. You are the distant voice. You are the tree, the light, the very silence that holds it all. To be lonely, you would have to be separate from yourself. It becomes an impossibility. Even this body, which we take to be the ultimate fortress of the self, is not a boundary. Where do you end and the world begin? Is it your skin? But the air you breathe moves deep inside you, becomes a part of your blood, and then is released back into the world to be breathed by a plant. The food you eat was once sunlight and soil, and it becomes the very cells that are thinking these thoughts. This body is not a static object. It is a process. It is a temporary whirlpool in the great river of life, constantly exchanging itself with its surroundings. You are not a person who is having a life. You are life itself, temporarily manifesting as this person, this body, this experience. You are not a wave looking at the ocean. You are the ocean, experiencing itself as a wave. And when you know this, not as an idea, but as a felt reality, your every interaction with the world becomes an intimate act of self-recognition. Brushing your teeth is the cosmos polishing itself. Drinking a cup of tea is the universe tasting its own warmth. You are no longer a stranger here. You belong to everything, because everything is you. And so the final ghost appears at the banquet. Amidst this celebration of unity, this dance of belonging, a shadow falls across the table. It is the oldest and most persistent fear of all. The fear of the end, the fear of death, the mind, which has been momentarily silenced by the wonder of its own non-existence, now rushes forward with its final, most powerful argument. This is all very beautiful, it whispers. This talk of oceans and skies. But this body will grow old. This heart will stop beating. This consciousness, this very experience of listening to these words will vanish. What then? What becomes of your beautiful unity when the perceiver is extinguished? It is the ultimate question. because it is aimed at the heart of our deepest attachment. The attachment to our own existence. But let us look at this fear without turning away. What is it that you believe will die? Is it this body? This collection of cells borrowed from the earth and the sun, constantly changing, is already in a state of perpetual death and rebirth. It is a temporary form, like a cloud, that will naturally dissipate and return its elements to the whole. To grieve its passing is like grieving the melting of a snowflake back into the water from which it came. It was never separate. Is it your personality? This collection of memories, habits, beliefs, and opinions that you call me? We have already seen that this is a story, a script you have been handed. It is a beautiful, intricate, and sometimes tragic story. But the story is not the reader. When the final page turns, the story ends. But the silent awareness that was reading it, that was aware of every thought, every feeling, every triumph and failure, where does that go? It goes nowhere, because it was never anywhere to begin with. It is not a thing that can be created or destroyed. It is the timeless, spaceless context in which all things appear and disappear. Think of the dream you had last night. In the dream, you had a body, a name, a world full of challenges and desires. The dream character felt intensely real. It feared its own end within the dream's plot. Then you woke up. Where did that dream character go? Did it die? Or did you simply realize it was never truly separate from you, the dreamer, to begin with? It was a projection, a ripple in your own consciousness. Death is the final awakening. It is waking up from the dream of being a separate person. The fear of death is the dream character's fear of the alarm clock. It is the wave's terror of becoming the ocean. But the terror is based on a misunderstanding. The wave is already the ocean. Its entire existence is a temporary expression of the whole. Its return is not an annihilation, but a homecoming. You do not need to wait for the body to fall away to experience this. You can taste this freedom now. Pay attention to your breath. Follow one single breath all the way in and all the way out. That space at the end of the exhalation, just before the next inhalation begins, that is a small death, a complete letting go, a moment of pure emptiness. And from that emptiness, without any effort from you, the new breath arises. Life begins again. This is the rhythm of the universe. Not life and then death, but a constant, inseparable dance of life, death, life, death. Every moment is dying into the next. To be afraid of death is to be afraid of the end of your own exhalation. Can you see the absurdity? To cling to the inhalation is to suffocate. Freedom and life are found in the letting go. You cannot lose a life you never owned. You can only let go of a dream and wake up to what you eternally are.